Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Today I'm going to be reading a book called Rapunzel. This book was written by the Grimm's brothers back in the 1800s, a long time ago. So it's a pretty old story, but a good story at the same time. The illustrations or the pictures are by a company called Zap. And this book is good for grades, I would say first, second, and third grade. All right? So, Rapunzel. Before I start reading, what do you think Rapunzel means? Do you think it means girl, or hair, or long hair? We'll see as I start reading. Here we go. Again, Rapunzel. There once lived a couple who longed to have a child. Finally, their wish came true. As the wife waited for her child to be born, she sometimes stared out the window at the garden next door. In it grew some delicious-looking Rapunzel lettuce. But the garden belonged to a witch, and no one dared to go into it. So there's our first answer. What does Rapunzel mean? Lettuce. Interesting, right? Let me go back. It's a picture of Rapunzel's parents. After a time, the wife could think of nothing but the lettuce. She grew paler and paler. Finally, her worried husband decided to sneak into the garden after dark and pick some. His wife ate it all, but it only made her want more. So the husband went back to the garden. Right? There's the lettuce, the hungry mom. This time, the witch caught him. "How dare you steal my Rapunzel?" she screeched. The terrified husband told her of his wife's craving. "Take all the lettuce you want then," said the witch. "But in return, you must give me the child." The poor man agreed. So here's a picture of the witch and the scared husband. As soon as the child was born, the witch took it away to raise as her own. She called the baby girl Rapunzel. Rapunzel grew to be so beautiful that the witch decided no one else must ever see her beauty. What do you think the witch did with Rapunzel so no one could find her? So when the child reached the age of 12, the witch shut her in a tower deep in the forest. The tower had no door. When the witch came to visit, she called, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Then the girl threw her long braid out the window, and the witch climbed to it to the tower room. So there's the witch climbing to Rapunzel. There's Rapunzel's hair that she let down. A few years later, a prince happened to be riding in the forest and heard Rapunzel singing to amuse herself. He was drawn to her sweet voice, but could find no way into the tower. How do you think the prince got to Rapunzel? The prince couldn't stop thinking about the voice in the tower and went back every day. One day, from his hiding place, he saw the witch call, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Then the braid was let down. "If that's the rope to climb, I'll try it," he decided. The prince called, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair," and climbed the long braid. Rapunzel was at first frightened, as she had never seen a man. But he explained how he had been drawn to her voice and asked her to marry him. Rapunzel liked him better than the witch and agreed. But she had no way to leave the tower. The prince promised to bring a ball of silk each time he came to visit, so that she could weave a ladder and escape. So there's the prince and Rapunzel talking. The prince visited every night, and Rapunzel kept his visits a secret. But one day she blurted out to the witch, "Why are you so much heavier than the prince?" "How dare you trick me!" the witch screamed, and in a fury she cut off Rapunzel's long hair. She used a magic spell to send Rapunzel to a far-off land. Then she tied the long braid to the windowsill and waited for the prince. When he arrived, she cackled, "Your little songbird is gone, and you will never see her again." Oh my goodness. The prince was beside himself with grief and leapt from the tower window. He landed in a thorn bush, which scratched his eyes. He was blinded. How would he ever find Rapunzel now? Do you think the prince will find Rapunzel ever again? We will see. For months, the prince wandered blindly through the forest, weeping. One day, by chance, he heard someone singing a beautiful but sad song. He recognized the voice at once and ran towards it, calling her name. Do you think the prince will be able to see again? He could hear, but can he see again? As Rapunzel rushed into his arms, a strange thing happened. Her tears of joy fell on his eyes, and he could see again. Yay! And so Rapunzel married the prince, and they lived happily ever after. All right. So that is the story of Rapunzel. Good story, right? So I thought of a way, or of a different way that the story could end. There's different possibilities. But I thought of, what if the witch kept the prince and now he was stuck in the tower? And so the princess had to now find him. And as the prince was stuck in the tower, his hair started to grow, because boys' hair can grow pretty long too if they don't shave it. So his hair grows long, and the princess finds him, and he has to let down his hair, and she climbs up and rescues him. So that could be a different ending to this story if you want to, think of something clever on how the story will end. So it'll be kind of the opposite. But what are different ideas that you can think of that would be a different ending to Rapunzel? Any and all ideas are welcomed. Okay, so I hope you liked the story. Thank you for listening. You can always find this book online if you want to read it for yourself or read it to your parents as well. But again, thank you for listening, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.